Once upon a time lived a Roman officer named Cornelius in the town of Caesarea. Cornelius and his entire family were believers in God. He helped the poor by giving charity, and he prayed to God quite often. One afternoon, Cornelius had a vision where he saw an angel of God standing in front of him and calling out his name. Cornelius was terrified. He asked,
"What do you want, sir?"
The angel replied,
God has answered your prayers. Now he wants you to send some men to Joppa and look for a man named Peter. They will find him in the house of a man called Simon, who lives near the seashore. Ask Peter to come and visit you.
As soon as the angel left, Cornelius called 2 of his servants and a soldier and sent them to Joppa to find Peter. The next day, when Cornelius's men were about to reach Joppa, Peter had a vision too. He had gone to the rooftop to pray. Around noontime, he was hungry when he saw the sky open up and a large piece of material was lowered down by the 4 corners. And inside the fabric, there were all kinds of animals, reptiles and birds. Then he heard a voice. The voice said,
Peter, get up and kill those animals and eat them.
"No,"
said Peter.
"I have never eaten anything that is not allowed by our Jewish laws."
The voice continued,
Peter, if God says something is all right, then do not disagree with him.
Peter had the same vision thrice before the piece of material disappeared. Peter was confused. He had no clue to what this vision could mean. Right then, Cornelius's men arrived. They asked to speak to Peter. The Holy Spirit spoke to Peter and told him that some men had a right to ask him to go with them. The Holy Spirit advised him that he should go. The Holy Spirit said,
You should go because I have sent them to you. Do not worry, all is well.
Cornelius's men told Peter that even though Cornelius was a Roman, he always honored and obeyed God. They also told him about the vision that Cornelius had, and that is why he sent them for Peter. Hearing all of this, Peter agreed to go with the men to visit Cornelius. Cornelius was waiting for Peter to arrive. He called for all his relatives and friends to be there to meet Peter. When Peter entered, Cornelius fell to the ground to worship him. Peter picked him up and said,
"Get up. I am just a normal man like you."
Peter and Cornelius talked for a while. Peter said,
"You know, it is against Jewish laws for me to come into the home of a Gentile. However, God showed me that I should never think of any person to be unclean. So here I am to see you. Now tell me, why did you send for me?"
Cornelius told Peter about the vision he had. It was then that Peter realized his own vision was God teaching him not to discriminate among people. God accepts all those who fear and obey him. Peter told all the people present in Cornelius's house that God offers peace through Jesus Christ. He told all about Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, and even of his appearances after coming back to life. Peter told them that Jesus had given his followers the job of preaching the good news everywhere. The Holy Spirit helped everyone in Cornelius's house understand what Peter was saying, and all of them believed. Some of the Jewish people who had come with Peter were amazed that the Holy Spirit was given to the Gentiles.
"Does anyone here object to these new believers being baptized?"
Peter asked. No one did object, so Peter gave orders for all of them to be baptized.